What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, in the chapter 261 leaks and spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen are out, and honestly, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to feel about this chapter, but if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video. So this chapter, it's very interesting. Let's go through it. Chapter begins with Yuji deciding that he will crush Sukuna's heart. As soon as Sukuna chants domain expansion, so from the last chapter when we heard the word domain expansion, this was from Sukuna. And I'm just thinking to myself, Sukuna is ridiculously powerful, man. Like, this is... and it's not bad, you know, per se, but it's just like, dang, Sukuna's that dude. I don't know about the whole mind about stuff, but it's all like, if you can't get upset at a person who has some knowledge that you don't and they're exploiting it to win, it's just all like, So Sukuna, he sees Gojo standing, and in disbelief, Sukuna wonders if it's really him, but pushes away that thought as he says it's impossible. But Sukuna suddenly realizes who it is and pushes away Yuji as he moves forward and says, "I apologize for underestimating you. I didn't know you were capable of going that far, Yuta Akotsu." Now, Sukuna addresses Gojo as Yuta. So, Yuta is in Gojo's body using Kajaku's technique, and we get a flashback. Before we get into that, I am so confused at how Gege is just disrespecting Yuji like that. Like, if you see the panel, Sukuna literally is just tossing Yuji away. Like, and I'm gonna save some comments at the end, you know, because it's just all like, okay, technically Gojo's back, you know, the same way that Geto was back, and we like Kajaku as far as, you know, in Geto's body, but it just seems like I said, I'll save that towards, you know, the end. Flashback, Yuta decides to have Rika devour Kenjaku and copy his curse technique, which will allow Yuta to change bodies, which is crazy. And in a weird way, you know, because everybody was just like, well, Gojo didn't get the berry, you know, Geto, and, you know, everything like that. And it's just all like, oh man, this joint is sinister. When I really sit there and think about Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm just all like, yo, this is really freaking dark. You got like pretty much both friends dying on the same day, and then their bodies get taken over after they die. Like, it is wild. Oh man. So Rika devours Kajaku and copies his curse technique, which will allow Yuta to change bodies. Maki objects to this plan, but Hakari says he has a condition. They're going to use this plan when everyone's wiped out and they don't have any options. So it does make me think, where is Urami and freaking Hakari? Like, are they going? Because I don't think that we've seen them since after Sukuna did Fuga. And so Kusakabe asks, you know, a very legit question: can we just copy Limitless from Gojo's body? Shoko says you can't use Limitless without the 6 eyes. Kusakabe's all like, they just copy the 6 eyes. Shoko's all like, the 6 eyes are part of his physical body. It's not a curse technique, so he can't copy it, which all of this has been hinted at, but the execution of it actually like happening and in this way, it's just all like, I don't know. I just, because we had the conversation of Gojo telling Yuta that they're relatives, they're distant relatives. And that conversation, there's a different conversation that ends up happening in this chapter. We also got Sukuna when he was thinking about the copy techniques. He was just all like, what if he, is able to do limitless? But he even says, well, that's impossible because he doesn't have the 6 eyes. Well, here we go. Now, Maki says, since Yuta can use copy curse technique for only 5 minutes, what would happen later? Yuta says he doesn't know, which is a great question as well. Meme explains the pros and cons of Yuta copying Kenjaku's curse technique. There's a possibility that after switching bodies, Yuta loses his curse technique and will have to forever live in Gojo's body. So there's 3 things. If Kenjaku's curse technique is of the constant or intermittent operation type, the physical body or the soul can't be maintained and he'll die. Number 2, if the curse technique operates intermittently, he won't immediately die, but he'll eventually die. So 3, if the curse technique is a single-use, one-time technique, he can use limitless even past 5 minutes. Mei says after switching of bodies is completed, it's also possible that Yuta's curse technique is discarded and he'll live in Gojo's body from now on. Yuta says that he knows this is a last resort, so first he will try to fight Sukuna with his own domain. If he can't win, he'll accept Gojo's body, which, again, a lot of this stuff was planned out. Kusakabe says it's a good plan, but it's just not humane. Yuta says, what do you mean humane? We're about to fight the history's strongest Jujutsu sorcerer, which is a good point. It is a good point. But it's just like we've been introduced to binding vows. We've been introduced to all that. You mean if Gojo is going to come back, why couldn't you just make him come back? Why did this have to happen in order for it? Like I said, it's been hinted at. It definitely has been hinted at. So it's not, but there was more hints to Gojo coming back by sacrificing the 6 eyes than it was for this, But he does make a good point. If we can win just by throwing away our humanity, we shouldn't even be arguing about this. Yuta asks if everyone's afraid of becoming some monster to fight Sukuna. Maki rebukes. Yuki refutes Yuta, saying that everyone's just concerned about him, which is true. But Yuta brings up another good point. What about Gojo Sensei? Is he not important? Haven't we been pushing all the burden of becoming a monster on the Gojo Sensei alone? If Gojo Sensei is gone, then who else would be the monster? Which is a great point. Even that's something Nanami had said back, when homie had died. He was just like, yo, can't we have Gojo just take care of all this? Which is a crazy thing. Like, that's why it's just one of those things where it's just all like, okay, like, hopefully Gojo could rest, but it's just all like, dang, man, now he's got a student in his body. Dang, man, it's just weird. If Gojo Sensei is gone, then who else would be the monster? If no one intends to become one, then I will. Since scene switches, Yuta tells Gojo that he'll take his body if he dies. Gojo says he's fine with that. He says he has no intentions of losing and doesn't care what happens to his dead body, which is a good point. Yuta and Gojo talk about if Yuta is a descendant of the Fujiwara or the Sugawara. And so they have a conversation. Oh, by the way, I was told that I was a descendant of the Fujiwara blood. Didn't Gojo Sensei say that I was a descendant of the Shagawa blood? Gojo, it's the Sagawa. You and me are distant relatives, but weren't the Sagawa and Fujiwara on bad terms? My bad for butchering this. It's late. Yuta, so I guess Oro-san had a misunderstanding then. Gojo's like, well, it's possible that both of us are right, which is interesting. Is that these are fan translations, so a lot of this we gotta wait to the officials. So then we go on. Gojo says Yuta might have been born under better circumstances than him. So Gojo says if Yuta can't utilize that advantage, he's totally lame. Gojo says, which I feel like is a way, like, I might be looking into this, but I could tell that I look at that as like deeper into like this generation, our generation of people. We have a lot of advantages that those before us just really didn't have. And so I kind of think about it in that same aspect. It's just all like utilizing as, whether, me being a rapper, me writing stories, or just content creation in general. It's just all like, this is the best time. So figure it out. Gojo says, let's start off with your sloppy cursed energy. I've always told you to be careful about that. Gojo then asks the students to go away because he doesn't want them to see a bloody side, especially since he doesn't know what he's about to do is right. And so we were wondering, we was all like, who murdered all of the old people, the higher ups? And so we find out that it was Gojo. And Gojo says, if I lose the Sukuna and all the old geezers in the room are gone, Gakuganji Gramps will stand on top of the Jujutsu headquarters. If that happens, there won't be any more chaos like post Shibuya incident. Gojo once again tells the students to go back, but they refuse. They tell them no. Yuta tells Gojo, try not becoming a monster by itself again. Gojo says that's something I can't do. At that moment, I was left behind. I have to catch up to him. And we see as far as, Geto, which is great. Like, I gotta, when the officials come out, we can have a better judgment. But, some of this chapter is just like super question marks, like this next scene. C switches to Amai, Yuji's friend, explaining his curse technique. So apparently he just has a very convenient curse technique that allows him to amplify the sugar within himself and output it in some kind of way. Shoko puts Amai in medical team with Nita as support by having him supply their brain some sugar using his curse technique. Scene switches again. Now, Yuta is cut in half due to Sukuna slash and has been rushed to the medical ward, which again, it's crazy because it's just all like, Gojo was cut in half as well. So why can Gojo or Yuta come back by switching into a body, but no one could save Gojo before he was like gone for good? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this is just, I don't know. Maybe it's just late and I'm just being picky, but let me know in the comments. Aroda has used curse technique to avoid Yuta's wounds from getting worse, so it might be too late. Or maybe before it's too late, which I'm just like, couldn't he have used that on Gojo? Yuta says he's conscious thanks to Rika, but he's starting to reach his limit. Shoko tells Yuta, which is funny because it's a funny panel because I think that's where he kind of like holds his hand up and he's kind of smiling. So once Yuta switches, he has to activate. Well, Shoka tells Yuta that she's already stitched up Gojo's corpse. So once Yuta switches, he has to activate RCT at max capacity and complete the body. Back to present. Sukuna and Yuta in Gojo's body both opens their domain. Narrator says Gojo had already shown the solution to Sukuna's open barrier domain, which is interesting as well. Chapter ends with Sukuna using Malevolent Shrine and Yuta using Gojo's Unlimited Void. Editor's comment at the end, the revenge match begins. Break next week. Wow. Wow. So what I wanted to reserve for the end, I kind of talked about it somewhat, but my confusion is, okay, we've seen characters cut in half and still be able to move. What's her face when going against Kenjaku? She was cut in half and still activated her technique. Now we've seen Yuta, so it was confirmed that he was cut in half, and they was able to do this. They were able to scoop up Gojo's body, and we were told this stuff as far as the whole head situation, and that, you know, and isn't Gojo's reverse curse technique better than Yuta's? You know, like that's what I'm so confused about, because I'm just all like, did they not get to Gojo in time? You know, like, what was with all of the covering up, you know, Gojo's right eye, you know, all through all this? Like, there's so many things that it's just all like, yo. And so another thing is, so why the Yuji disrespect? At this point, it's just all like, where's this story about to go? You know what I mean? Like, you know, and rarely do I get to this point, because I'm like, let the author cook, and I'm still like that. I'm still like, let the author cook. But just to talk about it and different things like that, and just have these discussions, I don't get what Gege is trying to do, because the disrespect for Yuji, and then we know that he doesn't like Gojo, but it's like, you don't want to bring him back fully, but you're gonna allow for a character to take control of his body and then just have him out there anyways. And so it just, and then you have Yuji's friend, which I damn near forgot about. I actually have to go back and just like see where this motherflipper was at. And I get it. With everything that's going on, people are getting random curse techniques and everything like that. But to just have this random convenient curse technique that allows for him to make sugar, and they need it for the brain, it's just a trip. So then it begs the question, because they brought up those options as far as, is it a one-time technique? What's going to happen after 5 minutes? You know, is Yuta going to stay in Gojo's body? Can Yuta even go back to his body? You know, and was he at a point to where no one can use reverse curse technique? Shoko couldn't use it. Yuta couldn't use it on himself. The only thing that was possible was old dude there to freeze the wounds that he currently has and different things like that, and then switch his body over to Gojo's. I don't know. I really don't know, guys and gals. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'll save more thoughts for the official translation. That way I can have an actual stream of thought on what's going on for sure. But I don't know. Maybe rereading it in the morning would do better. But anyways, guys, let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments. It's Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction, back at it with another video. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you won't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. All right, y'all. Peace.